Hi, and welcome to Horror Recapped. Today we will be examining 2012's Ghostquake. Beware, spoilers ahead, watch out, and take care. The movie begins in a high school classroom as a teacher named Mr. Myers gives a class lecture on the occult history of the U.S. Quentin Smith, a student in the class, gets distracted as he stares at his crush, Whitney. Mr. Myers notices this and slightly touches Quentin to get his attention. After the class, Whitney approaches Quentin, and the two engage in a conversation. A curious Whitney notices a jewel within Quentin and questions him about it. Initially, he's surprised by this, but explains it's a gold coin that belonged to his grandfather. Immediately, their conversation is interrupted by Mr. Myers, who asks Quentin to accompany him to the boiler room. A startled Quentin reluctantly agrees as the duo passes the school janitor, who looks at them suspiciously as they make their way down a flight of stairs. On getting to the boiler room, Mr. Myers tells Quentin about his obsession with an ancient cult and accuses Quentin of being affiliated with it. Quentin, startled, stares at him in silence with nothing but a blank stare on his face. However, Myers persists with his accusations and asks Quentin to show him the gold coins from earlier. He obliges, but soon after, the two get into a brief argument, which ends with the coins falling on the floor. This leaves a frightened Quentin scrambling to pick up the gold coins, while Mr. Myers stands by and apologizes. When the teenager leaves, it is revealed that one of the coins was hidden under Mr. Myers' shoe. Immediately, the gold coin sinks into the floor and summons the ghost of a dead man who laughs maniacally. A scared Myers backs away but is soon attacked by a plethora of objects, which come flying at him as he lets out a scream. On the other side of the school, a fat kid named Blake is being bullied by a jock. Luckily, this doesn't last long as another student named Colt comes to his rescue. Colt asks and learns about Blake's proficiency in computers, and the two head for a walk afterward. Later that night, 4 students, including Whitney and Quentin, are at the school's gym, making decorations for the senior prom dance, which is to be held the next day. While working, one of the students named Amber mentions that the gym gives her the creeps. This leads to her boyfriend, Dean, narrating a story that his father, an alumni of the school, had told him. He goes on to tell the tale of Danforth, the first headmaster of the school who was a cult leader. Dean states that Danforth was a sadist who engaged in mutilation and human sacrifice until the police busted the place. When they did, most of the cult members committed suicide during the raid, but Danforth's body was never found. Whitney waves it off, stating that it's just an urban legend. But Quentin, who seems visibly upset by the story, leaves with the excuse of getting some chairs. Soon after, she goes after him, and the two end up in the boiler room. There, they see the lifeless body of Mr. Myers, which freaks them out as they run back to the gym. Meanwhile, in the school's cafeteria, Blake and Colt, alongside another student, are sneaking in. It is revealed that Colt, who was a bully himself, managed to coerce Blake into breaking and hacking into the school's database to change Colt's grades. Not long after they break in, a sudden intense earthquake starts, which leaves all the students and supervising teachers frightened. This doesn't deter the break-in students though, as they make their way into the principal's office to get the job done. The principal and the coach who are supervising the students in the gym explore the school to make sure that everyone evacuates the premises following the earthquake. However, they don't go far when they hear a voice making an announcement via the public address system. They assume it's a student playing a courageous prank and head over to the principal's office, but another earthquake ensues, stalling them. Soon after, they are strangely attacked by an army of frogs, but the duo manages to get rid of them upon regaining their composure. However, as they resume their walk down to the office, the principal gets attacked and killed by Danforth's ghost, leaving the frightened coach in shock. She quickly takes to her heels, but is soon found and subsequently killed with a defibrillator by Danforth. Meanwhile, back in the gym, Quentin and Whitney meet up with the rest of the prom group and inform them of Myers' death. Dean and Amber think that they are joking at first, but soon believe them on seeing their serious demeanor. The group decides to leave the school to search for help, but finds all the doors to be locked. Seeing this, they head out of the gym through the hallways in search of an alternative exit. There, they run into a pair of choir students named Dex and China, who stayed after school hours to perfect their performance for prom night the next day. The duo informs them that they found Kim, a fellow chorister, dead on the bathroom floor. The group freaks out on hearing this and realizes that something ominous is afoot. Not long after, they are ambushed by Danforth and his henchmen as they suddenly find their legs stuck to the ground by green, sticky slime. However, before the villainous duo can attack them, they surprisingly get dispelled. Immediately, the students who had fallen to the floor get back on their feet and run down the hallway in fear. However, Dex, who seems to have breathing problems, gets left behind by the others as he fails to keep up. He enters the locker room to catch his breath but, sadly, gets attacked and murdered by the ghosts. Meanwhile, the rest of the students run into Blake and Colt. They take a minute to analyze things and conclude that whatever is happening is definitely supernatural. While discussing, Quentin informs them about a pentagram sign he saw on the boiler room's floor next to Myers' body. He also narrates his run-in with Myers earlier and figures that one of his coins went missing after their encounter. They deduce that this entire ordeal started from the boiler room, but have no idea how to stop it. On the other side of the school, Amber, who got separated from the rest of the group, runs into the janitor. Frightened, she hits him repeatedly, ultimately knocking him out, after which she makes her way to the school toilet in a futile attempt to escape the ghosts, but is quickly drowned there by the henchwoman. The scene cuts back to the group, which eventually split up into pairs. Colt and Dean try to use hardware appliances to force the school door open, but get murdered soon after by the henchwoman. Likewise, Blake and China get attacked in the school's nursery by the ghost a while later. There, the henchwoman kills China instantly, while Blake manages to escape. However, he doesn't live for long, as Danforth soon kills him. Meanwhile, Whitney and Quentin make their way through the halls and find the janitor passed out on the floor. When he wakes up, the trio has a conversation about the history of Danforth. The janitor narrates the story of his sister, Marisol, who was Danforth's last victim. He also explains that the henchwoman was just a girl who got turned into a demon by Danforth after she fell in love with him. Afterward, they come up with a plan and decide to make and use a chemical called Aqua Regia to dissolve Danforth's and his henchwoman's gold rings, as they are the source of their power. With that, the trio heads over to the boiler room with a jar full of the corrosive chemical. There, they are attacked by Danforth and his accomplice. During the tussle, Whitney is almost killed by the henchwoman, but the spirit of Marisol shows up and aids her. This buys Whitney enough time to dissolve the ghost's rings in the acid, thus killing her. An angered Danforth sees this and quickly kills the janitor in annoyance. Soon after, he then possesses Quentin's body and uses it to attack Whitney. He is about to stab her with a knife when the janitor, who has now become a spirit himself, expels Danforth from Quentin's body. Following this, the two ghosts begin a brawl, but Danforth manages to get the upper hand. However, when Quentin regains his composure, he quickly breaks the acid jar and his gold coins, thus weakening Danforth. With this, the janitor easily overpowers and ultimately kills him. Immediately, a strong wind blows and an energy blast occurs, prompting Whitney and Quentin to run out of the school building and into the street as the doors are now open. The movie ends as the couple stands on the sidewalk, looking into each other's eyes as they share a moment. That's gonna wrap up this recap. We hope you have enjoyed it. If so, please click the subscribe button with notifications turned on so you don't miss a single video.